Well, welcome aboard, folks. Thank you for joining us today. We've got a lot going on Your Voice Counts on this great radio station, Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth. And I want to do a little business real quick here. We got a lot going on, like I said, and we have a great gentleman is my guest today. He was off the USS America. He was the first pilot to come to our aid. He was flying a helicopter. He's a retired Navy commander and TWA flight engineer, U.S. Customs Sky Marshal, oil industry developer, and equipment salesman. Retired airline, Piedmont Airlines captain, married to the same incredible woman for 42 years. God bless him for that. And with two incredible sons and two incredible grandsons. And he is 72 years young. If you'd please stand by, Commander. I've got just a couple things I have to do. I always do on the Your Voice Counts. So I'm going to run through this as quick as I can because we got a lot going on. Like I said, the reason I do this show, folks, is to remember the crew of the USS Liberty that was slaughtered by the government of Israel June 8, 1967, in a sneak attack that killed 34 of my shipmates and wounded 174 others, including myself, and ruined a $40 million ship, one of the most sophisticated spy ships in the world. I also want to thank John Statmiller's staff at RBN, some of the best in the business that care about the truth. And John Statmiller has given me a long reign and given me a chance to remember these men so their lives will not be taken in vain. And that is something to me that means more than anything, because this show has a lot of tentacles. It goes out to a lot of people. And I respect John Statmiller deeply for giving me the chance to tell the truth and not forget about brave Americans murdered by our so-called allies, the State of Israel, June 8, 1967, and our cowardly senators and congressmen who will investigate this terrible act of heinous murder and war crimes against not only our crew, but the United States of America. I also want to thank Kat Fabra for her beautiful voice. She's my producer of this show. What a wonderful woman. Love her deeply. Couldn't do it without her. Also, Ron Kukl, a great human being, and he is also a co-producer of this radio show. And also John Godesco. He was a former intelligence officer aboard the USS Liberty. Thank God he didn't make the last cruise, or we wouldn't be talking right now because of where the torpedo hit. You can go on Jot's site, tinyurl.com/USS Liberty, tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. And before we begin this show, folks, I want to bring on Mr. Statmiller. He has a couple of things he wants to say. It's very important. And please listen, get your pen out, and understand what John's trying to do here is keep this great radio station on that tells the truth like none others that I know of. Real news, real talk, real people, RBN, because you can't handle the truth. Welcome aboard, John.
Hello, Phil. I won't take up much of your time. I understand you've got the commander standing by. I just want to say thank you for keeping the USS Liberty issue alive. We seem to be fighting a lot of wars on Israel's behalf. And if we can stop doing that and stop JSOG from droning and blowing up the rest of the planet, we might find some peace and bring our fellows home. At any rate, I'll just steal a few minutes here, Phil. We're doing a pledge drive for the network. I was hoping to have this thing over by the last week of December, but we've had to draw this thing into January. We need funds to keep the network running. We're behind a couple of months in all of our bills. So simply, if you find folks will go to republicbroadcasting.org, and there's a rotating banner at the top that you can pledge, or in the right-hand column under RBN Updates near the top, just click on that. That'll take you to a separate page. It has our address there, RBN 2251 Double Crate Drive, Suite number 3, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. That address is up there. You can make a PayPal donation there, or you can send the funds, check, money order, or FRNs wrapped in foil. We don't care. That's for the prying eyes of the postal employees. The aluminum foil is not to take it off and wear it on your head. At any rate, Phil, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to do this. And folks, this weekend I'm at home. I have phone lines forwarded over to the network. So if you would call 877-605-9200, that's 877-605-9200. We're offering a mug and a T-shirt, beautiful RBN mug and a well-constructed, won't dry up in your dryer T-shirt for a donation of $100. We would greatly appreciate it. And Phil, I'm not going to hold you up, my friend. Keep plugging along. Bring up the commander, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you, John, and thank you for giving me the opportunity, as I said before, to tell the truth to the American people about the slaughter of our American heroes aboard the USS Liberty. And thank you again. I'll never forget it. Thanks, John. Folks, are we still there? Are we there, Craig? Okay, let's bring on our special guest, Commander Hamel. Welcome aboard.
Yes, Phil, I'm honored to be your guest.
Well, thank you, sir, and I'm honored to see you once again. We never met in person, but I saw the bird you were flying, and when you put her down aboard USS Liberty, and I don't want to take up any of your time at all, Commander. What I'd like to do is, if you would please start from the beginning, and we'll work on down.
Okay, but don't worry about taking up my time, because I have constantly thought about this situation for 45 years and have always been very distressed at the response that our elected officials have given to this incident. So, as you requested, I will give you the facts as I saw them and as were reported to me by one of your very seriously injured crewmen. I'll start the day before, if you like, and interrupt me any time you want. Please do, because I don't want to ramble, but the day of the attack, I should say that, I was a rescue helicopter pilot on USS America in the Mediterranean, and we were flying plane guard, routine operations, until such time as the Russian patrol boat we were photographing, for some strange reason, since they were always with us with the big nuclear-armed carriers, the Russian patrol boats were always there, but we were ordered to take photographers with us this particular day, which happened to be 8 June 1967. And as we were photographing and flying around this Russian patrol boat, all of a sudden, the patrol boat did a turn 90 degrees to America's course, put on full speed and kicked up a rooster tail, which we had never seen before, and we were ordered back to the ship to refuel, which we did.
Commander, hang on. We got to go to a break when the music comes in. Hang on. Keep those thoughts. Folks, support your sponsors at RBN. Real news, real talk, real people, because you can't handle the truth. God bless you. We'll see you in just a second.
I'll hear the bombs again. I'll hear the bombs again.
The IRS is a private corporation, not a government agency. Income tax is collected by voluntary compliance. To learn to unvolunteer or discontinue volunteering into the IRS, visit escapeharassment.com and immediately implement Strategy 1. The process must be repeated each and every time. Paper, letter, envelope, presentment, etc. Always and forever. Failure equates to acceptance, subsequent resultant contract, and you pay or go to jail by your own consent and agreement contract. Avoid recontracting. Visit escapeharassment.com and implement Strategy 1 immediately. Bar lawyers and accountants won't help you. Why wait? Get Strategy 1 and immediately implement it to divorce the IRS today and forever. That's escapeharassment.com, Strategy 1, to be free from the IRS. Escapeharassment.com. How important is the air you breathe? Our air purifiers produce activated oxygen, called aerin. Activated oxygen is the natural enemy of odors, pollutants, and many other harmful substances, yet it's completely safe. Our powerful air purifiers unleash the power of a thunderstorm, destroying pollutants in the air we breathe. It destroys many viruses, bacteria, and fungi, kills molds, and oxidizes chemical fumes and toxic gases. It removes smoke, pollen, and pet odors. Made with quality stainless steel, our portable air purifiers come with a manufacturer's 4-year warranty. If you haven't experienced the aerin process of fresh, clean air, then call us today and receive 10% off your order. 877-605-9200. Again, that's 877-605-9200. Time for you to breathe clearly again. 877-605-9200.
Are you prepared? Really, are you prepared? Times aren't getting any better. Everything everywhere is getting tighter. Time for you to look out for the ones you care about. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com has everything you need for any event that might come your way. First aid kits, camping gear, training books, self-defense equipment, long shelf life, GMO-free storable food. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com has it all. Veteran owned and operated. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com is here for you.
A suppressed medical breakthrough guarantees anyone total health power with a simple device. That sounds impossible, doesn't it? In fact, it sounds like snake oil. How is it that something so simple could make such a profound change and isn't headline-making news? What if I told you it was? What if I told you in March of 1991 the news was groundbreaking? If you're like most people, you're wondering if this is true. We'll show you why your doctor hasn't told you about this. Go to drbeckprotocol.com or call 928-853-2821.
Well, welcome back, folks, to Your Voice Counts.
Well, the time has finally come.
Welcome back, folks, to Your Voice Counts. I certainly appreciate you hanging on. And this historic tale, this historic, I guess you could say, truth from the heart, one of the first Americans that got on site aboard the USS Liberty and did his duty, Commander. I'll tell you, I really appreciate it, you coming on the show and telling your story. It's so important to all Americans to hear your story. So I won't take any more that time saying that. But as you were saying, there was a rooster tail being kicked up by one of the German ships.
Oh, not German, no, Russian.
Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking of World War II. Sorry about that.
Well, we were thinking of World War III because we had known that the war in the Mideast had begun between Israel and Egypt, and we were very concerned that the Soviets were going to get involved. So when we were out there in our helicopter and this Russian boat kicks up the rooster tail, as we got recalled to America, we my co-pilot and crew and I were discussing, here comes World War III, because we assumed that perhaps the Soviets had entered in on the side of Egypt, and we're going to go in on the side of Israel, and here we are in the middle of the whole thing. That's what was going through our minds as we returned to the ship. We refueled, did our plane guard duties, and then all of a sudden I saw the first combat launch since Vietnam, and I was very concerned because this was a true general quarters combat launch, A4s, F4s, going off with bombs and rockets, and no one briefed us, of course. They couldn't because it was open communication. But anyway, we did our plane guard thing, and the ship, the A4s and F4s left, and we went back on the ship and kept our rotors engaged for some strange reason, because in my logbook I've got for that particular day on the 8th, I've got 7 hours of flight time, which is very, very unusual because in a helicopter we would shut down every hour or two, and 7 hours without shutting down the rotors is very, very unusual. Anyway, we were then launched again. We did plane guard for the attack group, if you will. And after they left, we went back on deck and apparently never shut our rotors down. And not too long afterward, back come the A4s and F4s. And, of course, we launched again and did our plane guard thing. And I was quite amazed to see these planes come back still armed. And they landed. And after the last F4 landed, we landed. And I recall, somewhat hazily, I could swear to everything in this particular interview, and I have given a legal deposition to the Liberty Survivors Association. One thing I couldn't positively swear about, but I am very sure I saw, was one of the F4 pilots or navigators got down from the wing, dropped his helmet to the deck, and kicked it into the nets. So, needless to say, this is something I'd never seen before, even in Vietnam. And we, being unbriefed by anyone, we were wondering what in the hell was going on. So, that night in the ready room and wherever, we got scuttlebutt what had happened, and we were told an American ship was attacked. The A4s and F4s were launched to destroy the patrol boats that were firing torpedoes at a ship, one of our ships. I did not know which ship. And it was nothing official. It was scuttlebutt among pilots in the wardroom and the ready room. So nothing official was ever told to my crew or myself. Having heard all this, I was briefed before I went to bed that night to get ready to launch approximately at first light or before in the morning on a mission. And I was not told what it was. I was told I'd be briefed en route. That was not unusual because that happened many times in Vietnam as we operated south of Hainan Island and east of Hai Phong, and many rescue missions were briefed en route, if you will. So we launched in the dark that morning, not knowing where we were going or what we were supposed to do. We got vectors from a U.S. Air Force or Navy aircraft that had the whole thing covered with radar, and we just followed vectors. We headed east, and based on my previous observations in the ready room and whatnot, I knew we were heading toward Port Said. And as the sun came up, this is a very vivid memory I've got to this day, the sun came up a big orange ball. What time it was, I don't know. You can check the meteorological logs. I'm not selling anything here. I'm just trying to recall the best I can. But whatever time it was, the sun came up, and it was a very still day, and I saw a wisp of smoke over the horizon, and then I saw the superstructure of a ship listing to the starboard, 5 to 10 degrees. And as we got closer, it seemed to be dead in the water, but it wasn't. It was doing a couple knots, I guess. And we had no idea what was going on. If you can believe this, there we were. No one told us what to do. The only thing I remember was, you'll figure it out when you get there. We circled around the ship several times. I didn't know, personally, as aircraft commander and having been to Vietnam, I was very cautious about ships like this. And I didn't know if it would blow up. I was afraid to get too close to it. We flew around it, observed the damage, which was incredible, saw the torpedo hole, and the cheesecake, the cheese like, I guess they were 20 or 30 millimeter, I don't know what the heck, but anyway, the holes in the ship, and I recognize it as a World War II Liberty ship. Coincidentally, of course, registry was USS Liberty, but this was we considered it an old tub, which of course we used as intelligence gathering ships, aka the Pueblo. So we knew we were sent for some kind of a mission, but we didn't know what. There was nowhere to land. So we came up, I think it was on the bow. All I recall was I nosed the helicopter left gear and tail wheel on the deck, right gear hanging over the side because there was no room to get in closer, and the nose of my chopper was right over this gun tub that had several big holes in it, or one big hole in it, and it was full of blood. And I recall saying something terrible happened on this boat, whatever the hell it is. And as I'm hovering there, wondering, is somebody going to come out and advise us what's going on? And I was getting a bit agitated right now at the situation. I saw a head peek out from around the structure of the ship, and he peeked out and put his head back and peeked out again, and I thought, what in God's name is going on here? So I had my co-pilot wave him toward us, and the man came toward us very apprehensively. I didn't really know what was going on. I was in the dark right now. So my co-pilot spoke to this individual who I think was a second-class petty officer. You all on the ship would know better than me, but he asked my co-pilot, and I will quote this, "Are you here to give us assistance?" And when that was related to me, I really got aggravated, and I said, well, what the hell do you think we're doing here? And he said, oh, thank you, and he ran back, and then he came back again and said, can you take off our wounded? I said, well, of course we can.
Here we go to another break, Commander. We'll get right back. Interesting piece of history you're telling us. Folks, stay tuned. Real news, real talk, real people on RBN, because you can't handle the truth. Thank you very much. We'll see you in just a moment. Bye-bye.
The walls were coming down. It would be too late for liberty.
Herbal Healer Spring Sale. 500 parts per million colloidal silver, all sizes. COQ10 with hawthorn, glucosamine chondroitin, sea cucumber, colloidal minerals, superfam and super male plaques, colon enhancer, our top-selling liquid, Cal Mag Vitamin D, MSM sulfur capsules, and elderberry power capsules. We also offer certificate correspondence courses in natural medicine. Free memberships and free online newsletters also available at herbalhealer.com. Herbal Healer has been serving the natural medicine industry for 25 years. This is a company you can count on. Visit herbalhealer.com today. herbalhealer.com. That's herbalhealer.com.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
This is Dr. Robert Rowan, here to give you an important message regarding stem cell treatment. World-renowned physician, stem cell expert, and friend Dr. David Steenblock has performed over 8,000 stem cell treatments since 2001. Bone marrow stem cells are completely legal to do here in the USA. The bone marrow stem cell treatment is not only fast, done in less than 2 to 3 hours, but is relatively pain-free and has little to no recovery time. Dr. David Steenblock and his office are able to help and treat patients who suffer from cerebral palsy, traumatic brain injury, stroke, macular degeneration, arthritis, Parkinson's disease, congestive heart failure, and more. Personally using their services for my knee and seeing great improvement, Dr. David Steenblock is highly recommended by me. Go to stemcellmd.org or call 800-300-1063 to find out more. Again, stemcellmd.org or call 800-300-1063 today to receive more information.
Do you have a product or service that you'd like to advertise on the Republic Broadcasting Network? Do you want to support one of the original Truth Radio networks in existence while getting your company heard across the globe? Right now, RBN is having a holiday special on all of our advertising packages and providing free commercial production to get you started. Call 800-724-2719, extension 111 today. That's 800-724-2719, extension 111, or email powers@republicbroadcasting.org.
The IRS is a private corporation, not a government agency. Income tax is collected by voluntary compliance. To learn to unvolunteer or discontinue volunteering into the IRS, visit escapeharassment.com and immediately implement Strategy 1. The process must be repeated each and every time. Paper, letter, envelope, presentment, etc. Always and forever. Failure equates to acceptance, subsequent resultant contract, and you pay or go to jail by your own consent and agreement contract. Avoid recontracting. Visit escapeharassment.com and implement Strategy 1 immediately. Bar lawyers and accountants won't help you. Why wait? Get Strategy 1 and immediately implement it to divorce the IRS today and forever. That's escapeharassment.com, Strategy 1, to be free from the IRS. escapeharassment.com.
Water filtration holiday specials from RBN. You can get a Royal Berkey made of polished stainless steel that holds 3.25 gallons and comes with 2 black Berkey purification elements, 1 shower filter that'll do up to 20,000 gallons or typically last 1 year, and 1 Berkey Sport bottle for the total price of $356, a $40 savings. We also have a Berkey Light, 1 shower filter and 1 sport bottle for the low price of $299, a $40 savings. Call 877-605-9200. That's 877-605-9200 today.
Welcome back. Here we go back to Your Voice Counts. I hate to cut out the beautiful Kat Faber and her wonderful songs about the USS Liberty. And Commander, I was thinking during the break, of course, you had the first bird's eye view of our almost sunk ship, and then also with the petty officer coming out to greet your helicopter with great trepidation, I would say, because the day before that, we had Israeli helicopters with Israeli gunmen in them, commandos to slaughter the rest of the crew of the USS Liberty. So I can see why he was afraid to even go up to your helicopter. So that probably would explain his and your feelings about why nobody was there. But thank God you were there, and you took off a lot of wounded. And I'll let you continue there, please, Commander. Thank you.
Oh, okay, Phil. Yes, regarding that petty officer, I was pretty disgusted that he thought we could possibly not be there to help him. Helicopter combat support squadrons, that's what we do, and I had no idea what that poor guy had been through until much later. So I'm just relating what I saw and what I was told, and if I may, I wrote a long time ago, I wrote down the comments of one of the wounded shipmates of yours. We flew back to America that morning in a flight that I do not think was ever officially logged anywhere, because I've had debates with people who have written books condemning those of us who told the truth about that day. And I told them this was a dying man who told me his remembrances of the attack. How could he possibly be lying? And why would you think I would lie? And I get very, very aggravated and insulted by anyone who would think any of us would make any of this up. But if I may, you can stop me if you like, but I have his comments to me, because as we lifted off the deck, I could only take, I think, 5 or 6 of your wounded shipmates, because the air was calm and we were in a very precarious position. And so on the way back to America, after taking 5 or 6 of your triaged wounded people, I was still totally in the dark as to what had happened. So I asked my crewman, please take your helmet off with a microphone and put it on the most lucid of the wounded Liberty crewmen, because I got to know what's going on here. So my crewman did, and I spoke with one of your people who if he didn't die subsequently, you would know who it was. I don't know who it was, but I asked the USS Liberty wounded crewman on the way back to America what the hell happened. And basically, this is what he said. He said it was a bright, calm day, and the ship was on holiday routine, which means some of them brought out beach chairs, which those of us in the combat Navy know damn well after 40 days at sea, a beach chair on deck is a very nice thing. And many men were sunbathing. Now I'm paraphrasing him, okay, and I would testify to this in a court of law if I had to. He said aircraft were flying over, and the sailors on Liberty, the men, they recognized them as Israeli. The men on deck thought it was sort of a congratulatory, impromptu air show for their benefit. The U.S. flag was prominently displayed. These are not my words, Phil. This is the crewman's words. The U.S. flag was prominently displayed, and no orders came from the bridge to clear the deck. After a long period, now this is what he said. We all know from reading books subsequent to this that the period of time was several hours, but he said, I'm paraphrasing again, after a long period of, quote, flying over, unquote, the aircraft opened fire and chaos ensued. Patrol boats attacked and, quote, several torpedoes were fired. That's what he said. I know there was one hole in the ship that I saw, but he said several torpedoes were fired. Okay, the wounded man might have said more, but I don't recall. Did you have a question?
I just wanted to say that that man, was telling the truth. We were sunbathing on the deck. The men that weren't on duty, we did that a lot aboard the USS Liberty. We had cookouts on the fantails on Sundays and things like that. And yes, we treated that day as no different as any other. We were in international waters. We were a flag ship. The state of Israel knew exactly who we were and admitted who we were, and then began their attack around 2 o'clock with unmarked jet aircraft, Mirage jets, to try to sink our ship. So the thing that inspires me the most is that you're the first pilot that has come forth to tell the truth. And now you didn't know exactly what happened, and you saw the ship. I guess in amazement, you thought, how could this ship even stay afloat in the condition it was?
Yeah, that was amazing.
And so when you finally found out what was going on with USS Liberty and who attacked us and so on and so forth, and I know you made more flights than one that day because you've got them logged in your logbook. Looking back on it, how in the world could something like this happen and be hidden for the past 46 and a half years?
Yeah, that day I've got 8 flights logged in my book, and we did a lot of, I guess, many more trips to Liberty. I don't even remember the subsequent trips. The only one I clearly remember was the first one, and my crewman was a very, rescue helicopter crewmen are some of the most heroic men in the Navy, all due respect to Navy SEALs, etc. But they think for themselves, and they're ready to do anything. In fact, I had asked them, I knew I could order them, but I asked them, I said, look, guys, when we land on this thing, you want to go see what's going on? This was a ghost ship. Liberty was a ghost ship when we touched down. I think it was on the bow. And they agreed, sure, we'll go see what's going on. And that's when the petty officer looked around the corner. But one of my crewmen had his personal, and I have to reiterate, personal Brownie box camera, I think, and with him, and he took 32 photographs. Now, this is important because I have read that subsequent to this attack, most of the crewmen and people associated were sworn to secrecy by the U.S. Navy for some strange reason I've never fathomed. Well, no one ever swore us to secrecy, and the photographs my crewman took were on his personal camera, and he gave me a copy. of the photographs, many of which I have sent to the USS Liberty Survivors Association, and I sent them back in the 70s or 80s. I still have several. To address your question, later on the next day, I believe it might have been the 10th, Liberty brought all the wounded on deck for a photo shoot because we had many media, mainstream media people on board, and we paraded the wounded out there, the ambulatory wounded, to take pictures. And I have my crewmen's personal photographs of these wounded men, which subsequently did appear in the USS America cruise book, which of course I've got along with a memorial service and a listing of all the deceased men. The reason many of us, the pilots, were so upset by this is that crewmen in the Navy and the civilian population doesn't really understand when a Navy officer, especially a pilot who was trained by the Marines in those days, you're trained to take care of your men. You get the mission done, but you take care of your men. And what we pilots saw was that nobody took care of these men. And that's why, to this day, we're very upset. And I am personally still very upset I considered Liberty crewmen my shipmates. Every Navy man was my shipmate in those days, and most officers, believe it or not, felt that way.
Well, I'll never forget when USS America and USS Liberty departed each other. Well, we got this break coming back, but I'll get back to that. We got a caller. Do you mind taking a call or two, Commander, and we'll go on from there. See you in a minute.
I'll hear the bomb again. I'll hear the bomb
again. Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
Earthquakes, hurricanes, nuclear accidents, terror attacks, and all-out social collapse. With the world today more volatile than ever, the future has never looked more uncertain. Survivalist Magazine is the one resource you can't afford to be without. Claim your free trial subscription now at www.survivalist.com, and your first issue ships immediately. Get all the details and more at www.survivalist.com or order by phone. Call 1-866-437-6570. Your survival may depend on it.
That moment of panic. Sheer terror, really. You're afraid to answer the phone, frightened by who might be at the door. If you're facing foreclosure or being harassed by debt collectors, you know the feeling. You need to visit whatliesInYourDebt.com to turn the tables on the banksters, collection agencies, and other crooks. WhatLiesInYourDebt.com has solutions. WhatLiesInYourDebt.com features live training webinars from experts, a member forum, support from experts who've been where you are right now and came out the other side in a better financial situation. If you are like millions of Americans who are behind on their mortgage, behind on their credit cards, or just being harassed by debt collectors, then this system is for you. We promise. If you cannot stop your foreclosure, even if it's imminent, if you cannot stop those debt collectors from bugging you, if you cannot clean up your credit, and finally, if you cannot make a few $1,000s during the entire process, make money from the debt collectors, yes, at WhatLiesInYourDebt.com, we will refund your money 100% in the first 60 days. Don't fear the bill collectors anymore. Visit WhatLiesInYourDebt.com.
Water filtration holiday specials from RBN. You can get a Royal Berkey made of polished stainless steel that holds 3.25 gallons and comes with 2 black Berkey purification elements, 1 shower filter that'll do up to 20,000 gallons or typically last 1 year, and 1 Berkey sport bottle for the total price of $356, a $40 savings. We also have a Berkey Light, 1 shower filter and 1 sport bottle for the low price of $299, a $40 savings. Call 877-605-9200. That's 877-605-9200 today.
Are you prepared? Really? Are you prepared? Times aren't getting any better. Everything everywhere is getting tighter. Time for you to look out for the ones you care about. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com has everything you need for any event that might come your way. First aid kits, camping gear, training books, self-defense equipment, long shelf life, GMO-free storable food. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com has it all. Veteran owned and operated. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com is here for you.
A suppressed medical breakthrough guarantees anyone total health power with a simple device. That sounds impossible, doesn't it? In fact, it sounds like snake oil. How is it that something so simple could make such a profound change and isn't headline-making news? What if I told you it was? What if I told you in March of 1991 the news was groundbreaking? If you're like most people, you're wondering if this is true. We'll show you why your doctor hasn't told you about this. Go to drbeckprotocol.com or call 928-853-2821.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to the last little bit of our show. Here we got a little bit of time. We do have a caller or two on the line, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew how valued these helicopter crewmen and pilots are to the United States Navy. And you're right, they would do anything for their fellow man. And to have rescue aircraft recalled not only from USS Saratoga, but USS America, leaving a ship behind. And they say we leave no man behind. Well, they left 294 men behind for 18 hours while we were under a ruthless attack, as long as attack on Pearl Harbor by a supposed ally Israel. And then they said it was a mistaken identity. And I know you're very well versed on identifying ships and aircraft that are of any nation, because you're trained that way. And my respect to you and all the men that wanted to come help us and couldn't, off both carriers, Saratoga and America. And it is, I know it's heartbreaking for you guys to go through that. And it's heartbreaking for us because we didn't get any help. We were left out there alone. And, we're still alone in a way, except for guys like you that have the kahunas that will speak up for truth and justice and not for the state of Israel that got by with cold-blooded, premeditated murder. We have a lot of callers online. And we have to take, if you don't mind taking a few calls, it would be appreciated, Commander. But the first call I'd like to take is Ron Kukul. Please go ahead, Ron. Ron was in charge of body recovery and identification when we got to Malta. Go ahead, Ron.
Thanks a lot. This is going to be a tight hour, Phil, so I don't want to take up a lot of time. But I just want to tell you, Commander, that 46 years of standing your ground, being called names that you're not, being a dedicated person or serviceman to this country, and when I hear your voice today, just makes me damn glad that I was serving in the same Navy you were serving in. I want to thank you. I haven't got time to go into anything more than that because I know that we're really tight. Thank you, sir. I'm glad to have made your acquaintance.
That's very gratifying, but we're all been in the same boat. The Vietnam era veteran has been treated terribly by their fellow citizens, and actually, after I saw the rules of engagement, if you will, in Vietnam, and then experienced what happened to USS Liberty, I was truly disgusted, and I've been talking about this for 45 years, and just telling what I saw and what I was told. And thank you for your comments. I appreciate that very much.
I do as well. Thank you, Ron. Good man, good friend, and very brave USS Liberty crewman. I think we have another survivor, Don in California. Don, welcome aboard.
Phil?
Yes.
Okay. How you doing? I just want to tell the commander, first of all, thank you, like Ron. Glad somebody was there for us. And I just wanted to let him know I have a PowerPoint slideshow. I give presentations about the Liberty. As a matter of fact, this last Tuesday, I just gave my presentation to Naval Academy alumni here in Southern California. And many of the pictures I have in my slideshow, I have no idea where they came from. They might even be some of the commanders. So if he would ever like a copy of it, he's welcome to get a hold of me. And again, thank you for all your assistance that you gave us.
Well, thank you. Of course, we were just doing our job. That was our job, and nothing unusual about that. What was unusual was what you all went through. But my crewman took the pictures, and shame on me, but I sent the originals back in the 70s when you all had your office out on Long Island, and I just kept about 5 or 6. I'd love to see copies of the first bunch of photographs I sent. That would be very nice, and I appreciate that.
What I have, but Phil has my email address and my phone number. I'd be glad to share my PowerPoint slideshow with you if you would like.
I'd love to see it. I know what you're going through. I've given several lectures at men's clubs, etc., around the northeastern United States, and for some reason I felt like I had just come back from Vietnam when I got treated like garbage because I was fighting for my country in Vietnam, and I got treated like garbage because I was telling the truth about liberty, and I didn't get it, and I still don't get it, but I just keep telling the truth as I see it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Don. And yeah, the pictures you're talking about were sent to Bob Cassell in New York, and we've asked Bob to retrieve those photos and return them to the rightful owner. And let's hope that Bob does the right thing and does that. We have 3 more callers. I got to take them in order. David Evans, please go ahead, sir, and be brief as you can because we got callers.
I sure will, Phil. Thank you very much, and my hats off to you, Commander. I was Sergeant Marine Corps, Vietnam, 67, 68. Was also during a peacetime mission. We lost a chopper off the back end of our fantail of our ship, and 3 guys drowned. So I appreciate the dangerous work and all that you do. Okay, that said, the American public needs to understand that Israel is not our friend in any way. On June 8, 1967, when they purposely murdered and wounded more than 200 U.S. sailors and Marines, and I think a civilian or 2 aboard the Liberty, that was a pivotal moment in U.S. foreign policy and our relationship with Israel. Until then, the Zionists who have infiltrated and controlled our government, going back to the Wilson era, pre-World War I, were unsure of how much control they could have over the American government. After they slaughtered you people aboard the USS Liberty, there was no doubt in their minds that they had total impunity, and they've been acting that way ever since. We're fighting wars in the Middle East for Israel, for their Oded Yenin plan, a strategy for Israel in the 1980s. I suggest everyone Google that, a strategy for Israel in the 1980s. Also Google a clean break. That's the American neocon supplemental version of that plan, put forth by several people in numerous over a dozen, probably more than a score, of Washington, D.C. neocon Zionist think tanks that control all U.S. foreign policy for Israel that has cost us trillions of dollars and thousands of lives for that little state in the Middle East that should never have been birthed. It was illicitly birthed, by the way. They did not comply with UN demands that they allow the Palestinians, the nearly 1 million people that they chased out of the way, to return. I can go on, but time's short, as you say. I would like to issue a warning to any people who have family members aboard any U.S. ships that are heading to or in the Straits of Hormuz or the Persian Gulf or that Middle East region. Do not expect the United States to come to their aid if there is a false flag Israeli attack, another false flag like was done on the Liberty, in order to draw the United States into a war with Iran. And this is a very likely possibility. They now have three brand new, virtually stealth, silent diesel-electric submarines provided by the Merkel government of Germany. The Israelis do. They've got these subs, and they're flying them, no doubt, off the coast of Iran and the Straits of Hormuz, and they could likely blame it on a Exocet-type missile launch from an Iranian or an Iranian-placed mine if one of our ships does get a hole blown in its hull like the USS Liberty did, with American loss of life. That will surely trigger and open the door to an attack on Iran, which is the plan by the Israelis to once again use the United States to destroy states so that it can expand with impunity on ever more Arab land. That's all I have to say. I would like your comments on that, Commander. And again, thank you so much for what you do.
So, Phil, I guess there's about 30 seconds left.
Okay, yeah, we're going to go to a break.
And you're going to come back? I have one last comment.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to come back. Absolutely.
Okay.
Real news, real talk, real people, RBN, because you can't handle the truth. Thank you, Commander, for hanging on. An hour is just not enough for us on this topic. See you in a minute, folks. Hello. Oh. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Bob Hamel, I'm being interviewed.
You're still on the air. Bob, go ahead and say what you want to say. We got
one last comment. John McCrae after World War I, okay?
With